Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David Rooney, published the Revelstoke Current, and welcome to the conversation, my periodic discussion of all things political. And today my guest is Doug Clovechok, BC Liberal MLA for Revelstoke, Columbia River Revelstoke. We're going to kick that one. I think we'll just go with that.
Yeah, that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful, David.
Okay. Welcome back to Revelstoke.
Well, thanks, David. It's always great to be here. We're up here at the ski hill today, and the Coast Mountain pipe thing's going really well as always, and it's good to be here.
Yeah, and I bet if you're going down that, you're not getting much of a view anyway. I mean,
no, it's a lot of smoke here, and we've got a lot of fires in BC. Over 500 have already started, and obviously it's a serious issue, and we're working on it as hard as we can. So to all the people up in the Caribous and in northern British Columbia, we're thinking about you and wishing you the very, very best. And we got the provinces working hard to try to get these things under control. So we wish everybody up there the very, very best.
And they're going to need all the help they can get. I haven't seen smoke like this since 2003. And in 2003, we actually had fire up on north flank of Mount Revelstoke, just above the old Solet.
Well, let's just hope down in the Columbia Valley there were some lightning strikes the other night, but they're small and they were able to knock them down quickly. So, let's just hope it doesn't come down this way. And like I say, a lot of people are calling in to our email and phone numbers and asking what they can do. British Columbians down in our riding here want to know how can we help. The best way that I would suggest anybody do, get online, phone the Red Cross, and donate money. A lot of people would like to go and volunteer. That's just who we are. We want to help physically, but right now the number one thing that people can do in our riding is to donate money through the Red Cross, and that's what is absolutely imperative. So I encourage people to go and whether it's $5 or $50 or $500, whatever you can afford, every dollar is going to count. It matters, and I encourage people to do that. So that's how you can help if you're interested in helping.
Well, that's good. Yeah. That's good advice. But I'd say, boy, I mean, you got to wonder what it's going to be like in August.
Well, we're in for a long run, and just good Lord willing, we're going to get some rain.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it for a while, but that's what we're going to need, and we'll get through this. We always do. What's really exciting too is to see all of the support that British Columbia is getting from folks up in Fort McMurray, and I've got to compliment those folks who are actually bringing trailers from Fort McMurray of supplies and diapers and wipes and water, and they're rolling into Kamloops, and it just goes to show you the resiliency of Western Canadians. We're always helping each other, so it's exciting to watch, and I know that there's a lot of people that are concerned and displaced from their houses, and our prayers are with you.
Good.
Yeah.
So, how are things in government?
Well, it's been an interesting ride, David. I got to tell you, I'm so privileged and honored to be, first of all, part of that process and representative of the people of Columbia River Revelstoke. And I've said right from the onset is that at the forefront of my thinking and the forefront of my actions is always the people that live here. But to watch democracy unfold in a way that it's never unfolded before, to watch a democratic system legally take a bronze medal and a silver medal and make them a gold medal winner has been an interesting process. But it's something to behold, and I'm just so honored to have been part of it and participant in it. Mm-hmm. And it's certainly something I will never forget. But we'll see what happens next, I guess. Yeah. It's a tenuous situation.
Now, you're parliamentary secretary of the Premier, aren't you?
I am until such time as the Premier's no longer the Premier. So I was honored to have that appointment and working directly with her and through her office. And already I've been working on files with her office and learning a lot. There's a lot to be learned from Premier Christy Clark. She's not only an astute politician, she's just a really genuine human being, and I tell you, it's just an absolute honor to be working with her.
Mm-hmm. So how are you settling in as MLA?
Well, it's busy, David. I mean, first of all, it's exciting. This is something that I've been after, as you know, for 5 years, and we finally got it across the goal line. But all the way from Kimberley to Revelstoke, we've been working on files. I've got a full-time constituency assistant, Rachel Loganberg now, who's just absolutely phenomenal. Our office is in Kimberley, where our main office is going to be, is in the process of getting opened. Where there's some renovations that are being done there. We've got an office now picked out here in Revelstoke that will be part-time. As of yesterday, we hired a part-time constituency assistant here in Revelstoke. So
Can you tell me who that is?
her name is Stacy. Her name is Stacy. So and I haven't gotten to the point yet where I can say her last name. It's an interesting one, but she's a lifetime lived here all her life in Revelstoke, married to a legacy family that's lived here in Revelstoke, knows the community, understands the issues, and we're really excited to have her on board. So we're hoping to have her start within the next couple of weeks. We've got a small office that we're going to be working out of until the office is actually opened here. And we're going to be running it as it's forecast right now, Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock every day, Monday through Thursday, closed on Fridays. But it will be an opportunity for Revelstokians to come in and actually physically have a face that they can talk to. And that's the first for a long, long time. And I think it's really important. It's something that I campaigned on. And it's I don't make promises during campaign, but I did promise we'd open an office if I got elected, and that's exactly what we're doing.
That's good.
Yeah, we're excited to have an office here, and same. So the riding has kind of been bookended with offices, Kimberley and Revelstoke, and then we'll just work the interior as we work it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. How many files do you have running in the?
I couldn't tell you the number, but I tell you there are a lot. Our emails are filling up every day, and like I say, I've got a constituency assistant now who's just amazing, and she's helping so much. But just to give you an idea, I've been working really a lot on the conservation officer here in Revelstoke. I've as of recently, a week and a half ago, formally presented a letter to the Jordan Sturdy, who's the Minister of Environment for the BC Liberal government of British Columbia right now, and I did receive a letter back from him. So my letter was concerning the problems with not having a CO here, and he recognized that. In our throne speech, we had made the commitment of adding to the COS service, Conservation Office service. So we've got a petition. I've been presented a petition from the Hook and Bullet guys here in Revelstoke, and when we have our official office opening, we're going to be inviting people to come down and add, if they haven't already signed that petition, for another conservation officer to sign that petition, and I will be presenting that petition formally to whoever the new Minister of Environment is in the House. And with the intent is that we want a conservation officer back here. We need one here. I recognize that in our campaign, and that's another battle that I said I would fight, and I'm fighting it. So we've been working very, very closely with that. Also, we've been getting a lot of emails, as you're well aware of this issue, the sewage pond issue, and the smells that are coming with that. I've had lots of emails from constituents, and although it's not a provincial issue, it's certainly an issue of constituents. And I've had 2 meetings already with Mayor Mark McKee. I've spoken directly to the engineers here in Revelstoke, and they have assured me that they're putting a new piping in to oxygenate those ponds, which will help reduce the smell. And also they've assured me that there's a long-term strategy in terms of getting some RFP out to some experts. So it's the heat that we're having here that's really causing the big problem. What I did ask and asked and answered was that they did have the Ministry of Environment here in Revelstoke to make sure that the affluent process was within the ministry guidelines, and I've been told that they are. That doesn't help the people that are smelling that every night. And I'll tell you what I can say to the people of Revelstoke is that I'm doing whatever I can do to help, which is limited at this point. But I can assure you from the information that I've been given and the people that I've talked to, including the mayor, as I say twice, they recognize that this is a serious issue, and they're working on it. They're working on it. So I say to those folks, just try to hang in there.
Have you taken a drive over there?
Oh, I know exactly what I can see what the problem is. Yeah, and I guess it's worse at night, and just hang in there, folks.
It's a stinky issue.
Up to your knees in it. Yeah.
I shouldn't laugh. I know a lot of people who live over there.
And they're good people. I've talked vis-a-vis email to a lot of them already, and they're good folks who just they're looking for a solution, and it's being worked on.
Yeah, but this is a perennial issue. I mean, it's been going on for as long as I've been here. That's 15, 16 years.
Yeah. So hopefully the city has got some the new processes that they put in place will in the long term. But I guess from a long term perspective, there needs to be new sewage plants, and I've talked to the mayor about that, and that's maybe something down the road we can look at. There's federal money that maybe can be applied. There's provincial money, and that's something that I can maybe try to help leverage down the road. But we're not quite there yet. And that's when the city calls me and says, Doug, we're going to need your help, I'll see what I can do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is, I'd like to come back to the whole process of constituency work. And when has Norm's people turned over the files that they've had to you? How does that work?
They've been very generous in terms of whatever they had in their office, but I have not received any of files from them. We are in the process of reaching out to his past constituency people to see if there were any active files that were not completed, and obviously we want to know about those files. But to this date, to answer your question, no, we have not received any of those files, but we are asking those questions. Yeah. Because it's important, because if there were files that still were open, we want to know about those files because we'll work on them.
Yeah.
And like I said, David, before, and I've said this in my campaign, and I've said it to you several times, and I'm very, very, very proud of it and serious, is that I'm now the MLA for Columbia River Revelstoke, and the BC Liberal thing doesn't really apply here. I am the MLA for everybody. So if you're Green supporter or an NDP supporter or a BC Liberal supporter, or you just don't believe in party politics at all, I'm here to help you, and that's what we're going to try to do. So the answer, we're looking for those files if there's anything there. My assumption would have been if there was anything really pressing and active, we would have been given those, because Mr. McDonald was just that kind of guy. So, but we've asked the question.
Okay.
We'll see what we can find out.
Okay.
And if folks have any of those issues, like I say, our offices won't be opened likely until August, but we are going to be running some advertisements in newspapers and online newspapers, including yours, to let people know how they can get a hold of us. We've got a website up right now that has that information on there, so I encourage people to go onto just Google me, Doug Clovechok, and you can find our website, and you can start to, those emails. And let us know what you're thinking and what you need. But believe me, people are already doing that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've never seen so many emails in my life.
Well,
that's exciting, though. It's exciting. It's really exciting.
And it's a vote of confidence that they're contacting you.
Absolutely. And you know what? We're finding some solutions for people there. I'll give you another example. Just in Edgewater, a very derelict mobile home in that very tiny and very eclectic community. I just love Edgewater. And the constituent had emailed me and said this is a big problem. It's a safety issue. It's so on and so forth. So, that's not a provincial issue, but I was able to connect her with the regional director there. And as we did find eventually out, the owners are actually ripping it apart and taking it down. So that constituent is happy simply because I think, David, what most people want to do is they just want to be heard and to see if there is a solution there. Sometimes there isn't. But at least you can offer something to people, and that's what people appreciate, and that's what we're hearing, is that, I've been answering emails personally, and that's something that we really believe in. We believe in a 24-hour rule that we have in our offices, which we haven't opened yet, is that if you get in touch with us, we're going to get back to you within 24 hours, because that's the kind of service we want to provide to our constituents, and we're going to work really hard to make sure that happens.
Well, I'm right with you. I mean, I think most people just want to know that the MLA here's what they're saying. Anybody reasonable will understand that there isn't always a solution, but they want to know that you're listening to them, and
you made an effort.
Yeah,
you made an effort, and and their questions and their queries have been answered in a timely fashion. So for someone not to answer emails for a long time is just not acceptable. And I know that Rachel is in the process right now. I've met with Mayor McKee several times already. I've met with Mayor Don McCormick several times in Kimberley. We're setting up meetings. I've met with several of the RDEK members. Setting up a meeting with Lonnie Parker here, and I want to meet with all mayors, councils, regional directors to find out what their issues are. I'm going to be going to UBCM and attending whenever I'm asked, attending with our local municipal representatives with those ministers that will be new to listen to the concerns that they have and make sure that those ministers hear those concerns, because my job now as an opposition member is to hold their feet to the fire in a very respectful and polite manner. I mean,
You still got a ways to go.
we got to waste that. That's going to happen, and we don't know how long that's going to be, David. Quite frankly, it's not a stable environment. Although the Greens and the NDP combined have one more seat than we do, it's still very unstable, and nobody's really even sure that, even constitutionally, how things are going to be passed through the House. In committee, they probably won't get through committee.
I remember the Clark government in Ottawa back in the 70s, and Joe Clark had a minority government, and he said he was going to govern as though he had a majority, and the Liberals let him spout off, and they were very crafty. They waited till there was a vote on a bill, transportation bill of some kind, and they decided to force it and make it a non-confidence motion. The Conservatives had about 20 or 30 members out of place. They were all over the place, and they tried to get them all back, and
Just couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Well, it's the legislature in Victoria. It's a big place,
Yeah.
and I can't tell you. And I admit it. I admitted it to our caucus. I've been lost. I don't know how many times. And when the House is sitting, you can't leave the building because you can't hear the bells and to your scenario that you just painted. So I got lost and got outside somehow, and the party whip and the premier and the caucus chair saw me out there, and the premier yelled over to her RCMP, he says, "We got a runner." And I got back into the building, no problem. But it's just been such an exciting opportunity and a ride, and you know what, we're all waiting to see what happens. And John Horgan has said publicly and in the House that he wants to govern across party lines. I've no problem with that. Actually, I personally campaigned on that. That we should, once elected, think of all British Columbians, just not the people that voted for you. So I'm going to hold them to account on that. And you know me, David. I'm not afraid to knock on people's doors and say, Minister, you're a minister of the Crown, not of the NDP, and these constituents need your help. So. The fact that government will be changing hasn't changed the fact that I've got a really good work ethic. I'm known for getting things done. That's not going to change. It's just going to be a different way to get to the process, that's all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How are you finding the whole partisan nature of the legislature of the House?
Well, you know what? It's when in Victoria, it's incredibly partisan, obviously, and in the House. I'm not real fond of the chirping that goes back and forth and the disrespect that's there. That's just not who I am. But I understand a lot of that is theater, and for whatever reason, and it's a different sense. But outside of those chambers where you have that happening, I had a chance encounter once again because I was lost in the tunnels. And ran into Adrian Dix. I've never met Mr. Dix personally, and so we introduced ourselves to each other, and we had a really nice conversation. So and talked about governing outside of party lines, and I was quite impressed with him at that point, just from that conversation that we had. And it was a brief conversation, but so I think, David, the partisanship is there. There's no question. I'm proud to be a BC Liberal. I believe in the values that come with the BC Liberals. We've done some amazing things in the last 16 years. Could we have done some things differently? You bet you we could have. And I think our throne speech indicated that we recognize very clearly that, you know what, we should have listened differently to some of the folks on the Lower Mainland, and that's reflected in our throne speech. And some people said, well, it's a copycat throne speech. Well, no, it wasn't a copycat throne speech. It was a throne speech that recognized some of the concerns that came from especially from the folks from the Lower Mainland. And Mr. Horgan right now has will form a government of basically people from urban British Columbia, because he has very few seats in rural British Columbia. So as rural British Columbians, we've got to be very careful and aware of that, because You know, we're where the resources are. The people who live and work in Vancouver, we got to respect them. We're all British Columbians, but it's our resources that drive those buildings in Vancouver or Surrey or Richmond or wherever they're there. And we've got to make sure that people understand that we're important to British Columbia too. So that's another one of the
right.
fights that I'm fighting. You know, not only Columbia River Revelstoke, but for rural British Columbia.
Yeah, that's good. We need somebody like you fighting for us.
Well, you know what? I am a bit scrappy, but I'll tell you what. I'm trying the door handle a little more often than I'm kicking it down these days. So it works better that way. It works better that way.
Well, Doug, thank you very much. It's been an interesting conversation, as all our interviews are.
Well, thank you very much, David, and it's great to be here in Revelstoke, and we've got some other things to do here today. Lots of meetings yesterday, and we'll be back soon. So we look forward to the office opening, and you'll be invited, obviously, as one of our guests.
I'll be there.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Whoops. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching, and hope to see you again soon.